again, John Wild here to give you another look at vintage action figures. This time we look at LJN's TV SuperStars line featuring Emergeny from 1975. Following the success of Mego's Action Jackson, World's Greatest Superheroes, and Planet of the Apes toy lines, LJN entered the 8-inch scale in 1975. The initial offerings of TV SuperStars toy line was the Rookies and Emergeny, followed in 1976 with SWAT. LJN pursued TV properties, as did Mego, and separating them can be difficult. Toy companies often followed the success of their competitors, and LJN definitely chose the 8-inch scale to be played with the Mego-style 8-inch figures. The Emergeny TV show ran from 1972 to 1977 and was a very popular TV show that depicted the lives of two paramedics and the hospital where their patients were sent. The show starred Randolph Mantooth and Kevin Teague as paramedics John Gage and Roy DeSoto. LJN produced action figures of each. Interestingly, the head sculpts of these toys do not resemble the actors who portrayed the characters. In later releases, almost all thought of who was on the package was lost and multiple head sculpts can be found for the same character. These came on card with no accessories. To get the gear, you would have to purchase an additional accessories pack. You could also get the Squad 51 rescue truck and the Firehouse playset. Let's get a look at my Roy DeSoto action figure all geared up. Here we have a look at Roy with all the accessories that came with the accessories pack, with the exception of the ladder. Now, let's get a closer look at the basic Roy figure. So let's get a closer look here at Roy, our firefighter. So this is one of two head sculpts that I've seen the Roy figure have, and definitely does not resemble the character from the TV show at all. His head, it articulates just like Mego figures, left and right. Underneath his blue jacket here, he's actually wearing a white t-shirt that buttons onto the back. He's wearing a blue jacket, and there's also variants that come with a brown jacket or a yellow jacket. It's got a zipper detail, which is doesn't actually detach from the bottom of the jacket, just opens up. He's wearing a pair of blue pants, and those also button in the back. And all the basic figures came with these fireman boot on their feet. They also came with the accessory pack. Let's get a good overall look at Roy, the basic figure. And here is a look at him from the back. A good way to tell the difference between Roy here, which is LJN, and Mego is in the wrists, waist, and feet. Looking at the wrist of an LJN figure, he is not pegged anywhere. Basically, if I wiggle this a little bit, it's going to pop off. The hand is separate and it just fits on a ball joint here. Unfortunately though, a lot of the times LJN figures are missing their hands. Looking at the feet of an LJN, you can tell the difference because it's not pegged. There's no peg in there. It's just on a ball joint, so it swivels around. Does have a little bit up and down movement. Lastly, to tell the difference between LJN and Mego is the waist piece. So the LJN figures have sculpted underwear on underneath versus a Mego figure, which will have in the Type 2 body does have a sculpted waist piece, but it just doesn't have the detail that the LJN figures, and LJN figures only came with white waist piece. The first accessory we're going to look at is the fireman's hat, and as you can see, the decal is still on my example here. So it says LA County Squad 51, and it's a really nicely detailed fireman's hat cap. There's a stamp of Hong Kong on the back of the brim. The next accessory here is the crowbar. Really simple detail. There's a little notch in the one end of it. Not bad. Following that example, we have the oxygen tank. A lot of the times these come and the decal is missing off of it, but this did come with the decal. It's got the regulator here at the top. It's got a nice handle for him to carry it. And as a nice added accessory, this oxygen mask here slides out to give you easy access to put onto your action figure. Our fourth accessory here is the flashlight. It's got a little hook at the end of it. You can run some string through there, so if you wanted to hang it off of the figure. And there's a little painted detail. They actually did paint the lens of the flashlight. And it actually, for a little accessory pack piece, it has
Nice details. So every paramedic is going to need one of these. Yep, this is the medical kit, and again, there's a decal on it, which is most likely going to be missing. It does have a handle too, which I'd imagine is another piece that's probably going to be missing. It's just a little rectangular box, and it has a little added detail to it. It does open up, and oh, look at that! In the inside of there is a big Jim chrome pistol. That's pretty cool. Well, that's a box that Roy can carry to his patient. Next accessory is a fireman's axe. A little bit of notch out of it, but there it is, just a simple fireman's axe. Here's a boot that would have come with that accessory pack. It also came with a rope ladder, but I did not get that with the lot of figures that I purchased recently. But I did get a couple extra boots, so this is a fireman boot, sculpted. Definitely different than any of the Mego boots that are out there. It has some sculpted detail on the bottom for the tread, but that was the fireman's boot. Another great accessory that came with the pack is this walkie-talkie. It really has nice detail on it. It's got the push-to-talk button, it's got some dials on it, and some painted detail, which is pretty impressive. It also has a little clip here in the back that you could clip it onto the belt loop of your figure, and it's brand stamped Hong Kong, I believe. Another feature that this has, which is pretty impressive, and I'd imagine that a lot of these you wouldn't find like this, it has an extendable antenna. Really nice accessory for 1975. The final accessory we're going to look at is the fire extinguisher. This is a great piece, pretty big, good detail. So let's get a look at some of the piece of it. So here's the tank, just a regular tank. It does have a spot that you can store the end onto so that you can clip it in. The top of the tank has a handle that you would depress if you were to use the fire extinguisher. So it's got some nice detail on it to give it some realism. Pretty cool. And then there's a black hose here that attaches to the business end of the fire extinguisher. That's where your extinguishing material is going to come out of it, kind of a funnel in reverse. And great accessory. The accessory pack came with all of the accoutrements that you would need for a rescue or a firefighter.
I really like that Emergeny got a toy line in the 1970s. I wish that the head sculpts were better, as they really look nothing like the actors. It's possible that generic heads were produced to keep the cost down of the product line. I look forward to finding more LJN Mego style toys. But finding a firehouse playset or rescue truck is a pretty expensive proposition. But with time and patience, I'm sure I can collect them all. What do you think about the TV show Emergeny? Was it a favorite afternoon event like me back in the early 1980s? 20 years later, and even my kids watched the Emergeny TV show. Do you have a favorite moment? Mine was John and Roy always missing a meal. Heck, for 5 years, these guys never ate. What do you think of LJN toys? Are they cheap Mego knockoffs? Or are they an honest attempt to recapture the drama from the TV show in an 8-inch scale? Leave a comment. I would like to thank you for watching my video. Please like, share, and subscribe to catch my latest uploads. And until next time, burp, 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 Rampart.